For the last 5 years, I've gone from the point when I was unhappy, dissatisfied with my life, mentally poor, feeling like a loser, to the point where I'm right now, feeling happy, confident about me and my future, and just overall more productive. And if I think about the rules that helped me to reach that and that I developed throughout these 5 years, it will be these ones. Better done than perfect. I cannot even tell you how many times I wanted to post a story, but I was feeling like it was odd and not the perfect editing and so on. I also struggled to post a video after I realized how crappy they were. This all didn't help me to grow. Focusing on making everything perfect is going to just take you farther from your goals and accomplishments. And also, suddenly, I feel that it's so weird, but I hear a lot of stories from mothers feeling guilty for not being a perfect mom. Excuse me, but how is it possible to be perfect as a human? I feel like it's the epidemic now of giving the 100% of yourself to something until it's just the highest quality possible. And I do not agree with that. It's better to finish doing something at 80% of quality, but still release it, show it to the world, and give value to this world with it. And it will be better than waiting till something is perfect. You don't have to be a perfect graphic designer before you start selling your service. You don't have to make a perfect YouTube video to upload it finally. And you don't have to cook only most delicious meals to be a good parent for your kid, for example. When you make good enough is better than perfect your motto, you become closer to giving something to this world, whether it's a new project or raising a child. And implementing this rule to my life, I started to be a lot more confident in myself. I started to feel better about myself, and I started to overcome the fear of starting new hobbies or projects, because it's okay if I do something on just 80% and not 100%. It will work out, I promise. And it doesn't mean that it always will be like that. If you release something good enough but not perfect, it doesn't mean that one day you will not release something perfect. And it's a great way to start to just stop focusing on perfectionism, but start focusing on getting it done over getting it done perfectly. The next rule is routine is your superpower. If your life is full of different small routines, you can avoid decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is when the quality of your decisions start to go down with the quantity of decisions you are making throughout the day. If you want your decisions to be as good and effective in the morning as in the evening, you need to develop different small routines throughout the day that will eliminate the quantity of decisions that you make throughout the day. For example, if you know what you do in the morning, what you cook for lunch, if you know what coffee you're making and what t-shirt you're gonna wear, it leads to less decisions overall made throughout the day, and in the evening it is easier for you to make good decisions. For example, choosing a carrot for a snack versus potato chips. And you also get less tired overall, just as a person, because decision making takes your brain work, and the less brain work you do, the less tired and fatigued you are in the evening. Another thing that routine provides is habits. Actually, routine is just a set of habits connected together. What I want to say is that it's a lot easier to attach a habit that you want to take up to a routine that already exists and with the habits that you already get used to. Like, if you've got a certain set of actions, a certain routine that you do in the morning before starting work, and you want to incorporate, let's say, journaling before starting your work, it will be easier for you, because just when you stop drinking your coffee, with the last sip, you open up your notebook and you start journaling, and it's easier attached to something that you already do a lot every morning than it is to, some random part of the day. And the more routines you have, the easier it is to accumulate more good habits into your life. More about my lifestyle, my routines, I tell on my Instagram page, so if you're curious about that, I invite you to check it out. Moving on. 80% rule. You know how upsetting it can be sometimes when you have your to-do list and in the end of the day you look at it and you realize that you haven't done even half of what you aimed for? And it is usually upsetting. But why? Why do we always think that we have to do the 100% of the things that we planned to do. The truth is, we as humans, we tend to over-evaluate our abilities, our productivity to do stuff, and also we underestimate the things that can happen in future to us. And in general, we perceive our future positively, even though we don't know what can happen tomorrow that will prevent us from doing what we planned to do. So I decided for myself that it will be just easier to aim for 100%, but to feel totally perfect and good about myself when I do only 80% of what was planned. It's not only 80%, that's the whole 80% of things that I planned to do. So first, we overfill our to-do list with hundreds of to-dos. Then we don't accomplish everything because something happened, and then we become sad and it can lead to self-flagellation. In my opinion, 80% of accomplished task either for a day or for a year is the best result you can have. So if in the end of the year you look at your goals and from 40 to 80% of it is accomplished, you can think that you're actually a genius that you did that job. You did a great job this year and there's no reason to criticize yourself. Let's continue with the fourth rule. When you say yes to something, by default you say no to something else. I think at some point of our lives we have to realize that there will never be the time when we have enough energy and time to do the things that we want to. There will always be something that is on our to-do list, that is on our dream bucket list, but that we still will not do because there are other priorities in our lives. Someday, someday, someday. You know, there will always be something that you will not do even someday. You know why? Because there are certain priorities that we have to stick to. Because if you agree to help your friend, you immediately say no to the time spent with your daughter. If you decide to watch an extra episode of the TV show this evening, you immediately say no to a few lessons of the course that you're taking. And if you want to buy this $100 purse today, you immediately do not invest this $100 into your investment account, right? Right. The realization of this helps me to define priorities, because I know that if I decide to start my Facebook page right now that I really want to, I by default will say no and will stop developing or will slow down in developing of my Instagram page. This is just how it works. If you choose something, you choose it over something else. If you are enjoying this video so far, please hit the like button, and also you can subscribe to my free newsletter with more mindfulness tips, something about minimalism, something about how our brain works. It will be a short, inspiring read every week on your inbox. If you would like to join my newsletter, the link is right in the description. You can subscribe to it right now. And let's move to the last but the most important rule in my opinion. Celebrate things, yay! I have weird relationships with celebration because a few years ago I thought this was just meaningless. People were just too bored, that's why they created different holidays to celebrate. And although maybe it's true, I still want to participate in it. And here's why. When you celebrate your small accomplishments, birthdays, maybe some international holidays, you first of all have this celebrative and a little bit exciting mood. And if you have an excuse, like the reason to have a better mood this day than other days, then why not use this reason to do so? First of all, this can give you just a nice feeling throughout the day or maybe even a month. This is why I want to celebrate things now. The second thing that celebrating accomplishments gives me is acknowledging my hard work that I was doing throughout some time that finally had results. And the third thing is, when you acknowledge your accomplishments, you can have more motivation to move on and to continue working on what you're working on. Why? Because the best motivation is seeing the result. And when you have the celebration of your small accomplishments or bigger accomplishments, you see those results and you stop at the moment and focus on, hey, I didn't have it a year ago and now I have it. This is the result. So I will probably continue working to reach even more goals. So this is why I think that celebrations are a good idea if you do them even on small occasions and small accomplishments. I started celebrating things probably in the last New Year's Eve. I decorated my home and it was a nice time spent. Also, I celebrated my 3,000 subscribers of my channel and it was also a nice day. We went to a restaurant, we had a wonderful meal, we had the most delicious beer in Ukraine probably, and it was just a good day. So now when I work on like gaining more subscribers and developing my YouTube channel, I now have this warm thing in mind, this excitement about what we're gonna do on the next threshold. And if you would like to support my channel, go to my Patreon page. I share like a lot of content there too. And if you enjoyed this video, you will probably enjoy my last video about the tips I share after unpacking from my trip and how to pack really minimally. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate your likes, views, and comments. Have the most wonderful day. Goodbye.